12/12/26.
Happy 90th.
Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
We had a little hassock in front of this new radio my father had just gotten from Sears and Roebuck.
Yep.
And I was fooling around getting stations from all over the country. And all of a sudden they broke through on this station and announced that they were bombing Pearl Harbor. 100% joined. Mm-hmm. That's what got my dander up, and that's what caused me to join up. I wanted to be with the boys. So I thought that was the thing to do. I don't know that I had a concept of saving America or anything like that, but it was something that everybody was doing that I grew up with, and I wanted to be part of it. I enlisted in February '44.
Absolutely, we're here for it.
I went to join the Marines.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to be a big hero, join the Marines. I went across to Grand Central Station that had recruiting in this enormous building. And I went into the Marines. I went through all the testing, and I flunked the test. Flunked it because there was something wrong. I think the word they used was albumin in your urine, something. So the guy said to me, lay off Coca-Cola and all the sweet stuff for the next 3-4 weeks, come back. Well, I was so embarrassed that I flunked, I shoot my mouth off to all the guys on the corner that I was going to be a Marine, that I felt embarrassed about going back and saying I flunked. So, dummy that I went across the street. I was 4 pounds light as well. I weighed 110, and the limit was, I think, 114. I went across the street, drank as much milk and water as I could, and I went back and I went into the Navy office. And when it came to the point to put some urine into the bottle, I said to the guy next to me, hey, I can't make it. I'm too nervous. How about putting some of that in here? And he did. And I passed. And 3 weeks later, I was in boot camp here in, I guess it's, what the hell is the name of that town? Geneva.
Samson.
Great Samson Naval Station, right. For 15, 16 months. No, weeks. And then they sent me home. I went back, and the next thing I knew, I was on a train on my way to Cooks and Baker School, which I didn't apply for.
Of course.
And
where was that?
That was in Newport, Rhode Island,
Okay.
Cooks and Baker School.
Yep.
They had a lot of service schools there. I didn't know where it was. Everything was hush hush. And when I got back to Sampson after my leave, they wouldn't tell us where we were going. Everything was shut up. Don't talk to anybody about anything. And so I was put into a group, and I knew something was wrong because most of the guys in this group were about almost the age of my father. 36, 37, 38 years old, just made the draft. They couldn't figure out there were only two other young kids like me. And they'd show us VD pictures, movies. The slogans, the prettiest face will hide the dirtiest dose, and things like that. And they were gruesome. And then we'd go into what they called a locker, where they teach you how to make knots. Knots for the Navy of 1812, because they never used a knot all the times in the Navy except string to tie up a roast. So that was it. After 5 weeks, they sent me home and said I was a sailor. I still didn't know how to tie my fly. Nobody knew where the hell we were going. They put us on a train, and we went to Newport, Rhode Island, and we were all in marching groups, and we were passing all these service schools. So all the way down at the end, there's one left. It's Cooks and Bakers School. And the guy says, fall out. And I said, wait a minute, you made a mistake. He said, I made a mistake? How did I make a mistake? I said, I didn't put in for Cooks and Bakers School. He says, I don't know whether you did or not, but here's my roster list, and you're on it. So out and get in there and stop breaking my chops. So that's how I got out of Cooks and Bakers School. I loved the Navy, but that was a farce.
Yeah.
First of all, the other guys, the older guys that I'm talking about, they were all butchers or bakers or cooks. That was their profession. They got drafted. So I had no problem then, but then we had these three kids, kid from Maine and a kid from, where the hell was it, Boston, Massachusetts, and they had to train us, so we all had to go to class together. The class was instructional in the beginning. Things like if you use a knife on hot meat, after about a half an hour, you have to sharpen it up again. But what we got out of that main course, more than anything else, was how to, they called it recapping a menu, where you could take and design a menu for a whole month, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Get the right ingredients for each meal, calories, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and costs. That was the big test. At the end of the course, you were asked to recap a menu for a month. And I think I wound up with an 83. I was way down in the class. The funny thing is that, you know, I knew quite a bit about cooking. I came from an Italian family, and my mother, I used to dog her around the kitchen all the time, so I had some idea. But they didn't do any of that. The last 2 weeks, they put us into the galley, the enormous places there. Each field house, I guess you would call it, would feed 10,000 guys. There were over 90,000, I think, at Sampson at the time. And they would bring us there. The instructor would bring us there, call the head cook, head chef, say, here's your crew, and he would take off. And this guy would look at us like we were dumb. And he shook his head like, why do they keep doing this to me? Because he's busy. He was trying to get out meals for 10,000 guys. And they were hustling like crazy in there. So he'd say, you grab that mop, that swab, and clean that area over there. You get and jump up in those coppers and scrape out all those coppers. You sweep that store over there. You go over there and move those potatoes from there to over there and stuff like that. Just nonsense. At the end of the week, once a week, yes, it was only 2 weeks. 1 week we had veal cutlet, and they put us in a line. One guy would get the meat, next guy would put it in the flour, next guy would put it in the crumbs, next guy would put it in the fryer-later, the next guy would take it out, fourth, fifth guy would put it into a serving plate. So that was the extent of our cooking experience. So when we were assigned a ship, I was in trouble right off the bat. Because the kid was a young kid too. He was about my size, fortunately. But he had just gotten back from the landings, D-Day, on this LST. I was assigned to an LST. And he wasn't fit at that point in his life to be instructing somebody who didn't know his ass from a hole in the ground, you know. Mm-hmm. And he gave me instructions. He says, you cook breakfast and lunch. I'll come in and help you with lunch, and I'll cook dinner, and I'll do the baking. I said, great cookie, except that I don't know how to light the stove. So his first remark to me is, I'll be a son of a bitch. There's 600,000 guys in the Navy. I gotta get stuck with a shitheel like you, something to that effect. So I said, what do you want me to do? So he was stuck. He had to come in and help me in the morning, lunch, dinner, and then bake at night. The guy was... So I worked my fanny off trying to get where I could relieve him. And I did, and he was a good guy in the end. And he was a good cook, too, a good Navy cook.
Yeah.
So I got my grounding right there. After Cooks and Baker School, I was assigned to a seagoing tug, ATR 175, out of Maine.
Okay.
And I was on that only a short time, and then I was transferred to the LST, which was being refitted for the invasion of Japan.
LSTs. Built in the heart of America, they are going down America's rivers to America's ports, and from there to faraway battlefronts.
We're ready to ship out. We've gotten orders where we just cleaned out everything on the ship. The guns have been replaced, everything. And we heard the news. They dropped the bomb.
Yeah.
So that, it was all over then. So they, fixing up the ship, they decommissioned it. Oh, we went nuts. We were on this little base in, across the river from New Orleans, Aberdeen, and we took this ferry. I don't know if you ever saw those ferries. They used to run in New Orleans. They were Looney Tune type things. And I don't know why we didn't collapse getting into New Orleans, because there were too many guys on there. But at any rate, we got in. By the time we got downtown New Orleans, the place was erupting. Thousands and thousands of people in the streets. Everybody hugging, kissing, drinking, goosing, you name it. Everything was going on. Celebration.
You didn't mind that, did you?
No, I got too drunk too soon. And I passed out in a couch in a hotel lobby. Somebody had to wake me up and get me back to the base.
Indiana, wearing purple cross, the outstanding challenger for the middleweight title, Tony Zale.
This is our phys ed instructor. He was a chief petty officer.
So what was he like?
Oh, he was a terrific guy. One of the nicest, soft-spoken, never raised his voice. Well, nobody would dare horse around with him anyhow, but he never had to raise his voice, and he never did.
You were a boxer.
I did. I boxed there, and then I boxed later in New Orleans. In fact, in New Orleans, I got through the preliminaries and got into the semifinals. And I got beat in the semifinals. And that guy went to New York. This was the Golden Gloves now at this point. There were a lot of Navy and Army, Marine personnel in those things. And he went on and he did quite well.
Often you think of black soldiers as being folks who worked in the cook, in the mess, stevedore type folks. Did you have much of that at all?
Not in the beginning, but later on the attitude, frankly, wasn't very good.
Mm-hmm.
So I grew up in a neighborhood where we had a lot of blacks, so it was no problem for me. And most of the kids that I went into the service with, we all grew up in that kind of environment. And, but we had, I don't know, it was because they were Southern, but they were not easy on these guys. They just stay out of my way. They had if you're white, you're all right. If you're brown, you can hang around. If you're black, stand back. And that was the attitude.
It was called the belly robbers.
Right.
Why did you use the term?
Because that's what they called us. You go through a line and you put food on there, and so the guy say, "Give me a little food, right, for Pete's sake." He said, what the hell's the matter with you guys? You're not paying for it. Goddamn belly robbers, give us some food.
I salute you. All of you were part of the big machinery of the war, and you were part of that.
Was part of it, yes, in that sense, I really was, yes. And I'm proud of my duty. I did a good job. Nobody starved on any ship I was on. So isn't that peculiar when you think about it? I just missed the invasion of Europe on the LST. I got on the LST that was in the invasion. And then later on I got on a General Anderson, which had been all over the Pacific and had been all kinds of action it went through. And it came back to the States and assigned as a troop carrier. I got on that and missed all that action. So, you know, at first I felt a little sorry that I didn't experience some action, but when I had two buddies. One, Georgie Velas, got killed the first day in action in France. The other one was my best friend, Benny Chivetta, who enlisted in the Navy before I did, and he was one of the reasons that I joined. He wound up in the submarine service. At any rate, they spotted this tanker, so he said, okay, take us down. And they fired at this tanker, and the first one missed. Second one fires the last one they had. The thing got out, I don't know how many yards, a couple of 100 yards or more, and it porpoised. They call porpoised. And it came back right towards the ship and hit it. Came right back and hit the damn ship. And he was down on the bottom when it hit, down below. 9 guys got out of that. The captain, who was on deck, and 3, 4 other guys who were able to get up through there before the ship, the sub went down. Benny never had a shot. Because I know Benny, if he had a shot to get out of there, he would have gotten out. Wow. And so they picked up, the Japanese picked up these guys, and they were in internment camp until the war ended. The sad part about that is Benny's father was a tough old paisano. He believed in punishment. And he wouldn't let Benny play anything. He couldn't play basketball, baseball, football, anything that normal kids did in those days. It was a sit-in, he work. So he had a very difficult relationship with his father. His father used to beat him up pretty good. And Benny be playing ball out in the field over here. His father come home from work, he'd not go down there and yank him by the ear and drag him all the way home. And so at the end of the war, they got notice that Benny was missing in action. That's the first notice they got. Missing in action. Second notice, possibly survived. Certain were found in Japanese camps, so-and-so. So the parents went from down to up, and then they confirmed that he didn't survive. Then he went down again. And his father, I can still see him today, believe it or not, Greg. He would walk down to that baseball field and stand on the sidelines with tears coming down his face. It gives me shivers to even think about it now. For what he had done to his son, never let his son do anything.
Well, I salute you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Let me